Okay, hello all you crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. Welcome back to making a bullet hell game in Game Maker. So last time we worked out waves of enemies. So enemies can be organized into waves. They can swoop in onto the screen when their wave is due to start, when a timer expires, when you kill the last enemy on the screen or whatever. And today, this is going to be the last core gameplay feature that I work on. Already, I know. Player specials. So we do have a regular player attack, which is just shooting forward. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the episode 0. I do not remember exactly if I mentioned this in the episode 0. The game's premise is also going to be like defeating creepy crawlies, as was Bombardiers, just to like properly communicate my distaste for everything creepy and crawly, such as that fly that flew into my mouth in the last video, and that other fly that came very close to doing the same thing today. I finally put out like a trap for them a couple days ago, and it seems to be working. But hopefully soon, the fruit fly population in this room starts to go down noticeably. What are we talking about again? So the player that I have in my head for this thing, and I see the next wave has just randomly decided to come in. You are probably going to be just like a self-insert. I'm probably going to make like the dragon dude, who is, I guess for lack of better words, like my Sona or whatever. You know, that should actually probably be pretty fun to design as far as a player design goes. A secondary attack is probably going to be something akin to a fire breath, because what else would it be if your player character is a dragon? So we're gonna get to that. First, the actual what is this implementation of the secondary attack isn't really important. How it's just gonna work is there's going to be basically a very large bullet spawning in front of the player, and it will behave as a regular bullet. It will travel forth and damage whatever it comes into contact with. So I can, I believe, subclass the bullet. So if I Control D, duplicate U. So if we call that bullet fire breath, I can assign your parents to the regular bullet class. That is going to allow you to inherit things such as speed, damage, friendly, ignore, all that fun stuff. We can delete our duplicated events. Yes. The sprite that it has, I'm going to go back into the programmer or in stuff folder. How big is the bullet sprite? This is 8 by 8. I'm going to make the fire breath like... This can be... How about something like 24 by, like... And we're gonna uncheck maintain aspect ratio there, like 24 by 16 or something like that. All right, and that weird stretched circle is fine for now, honestly. Except it isn't, because it's weird and jagged, and I'm just gonna draw another circle. Something like this. And let's not make it the same color as the background. For now. And, you know, I can close the room editor just to make more space on the screen. Possibly by the time this video actually goes up, Game Maker will have a... like, their highly anticipated workspace overhaul update out. And you won't any longer have to deal with, like, these somewhat awkward workspace chains like this. And Game Maker will look very different from what you see on the screen right now. But I am, as you can see, recording this in January. And that update, as of my doing this, is currently a long way off. Like, I think it was only last week that the IntelliSense update came out in beta. And I'm not even using that for this because it is just so unstable. And there would be red lines everywhere. Hey. Anyway, that's something that I have to look forward to, and you all hopefully already have. Where is the player? The entity player is this yellow square. And in the step event, if you click the right mouse button, we have a can shoot. And then if you can shoot, you shoot. And then if you click the right mouse button, I'm just going to like shoot secondary or something like that. I will worry about timing mechanisms and all that fun stuff later. Should I call it? That's a long name. I'm gonna call it shoot sub. David fruit fly. Gotcha. Let's see. Self.shoot. I can make a sort of a copy of this. Call it shoot sub, like the Subweapon as bullet hell games often like to call it, and then fire breath explosion. Or whatever it is. The shot velocity can stay 10. The shot angle can be straight ahead, 90 degrees on the screen, without any plus or minus variation, because that would not make a lot of sense. X speed can do that. Y speed, friendly is obviously going to be true. Shot.damage is going to be... let's hardcode this to like 4 times the regular damage or something like that. Just thematically, I think it makes sense for Fire Breath to always have the attribute of fire, to not be recursive, because that would be a little weird, and to explode. And to not explode, rather, because that would also be a little bit weird. So the damage buff can apply to this, at least for now. I have not given a great deal of game design thought to this, and I may well change that later, but the other buffs will not be considered. So you know how in this game, when like every time you defeat all the foes in one wave, another wave comes in? Because I swear that's what's happening with these fruit flies. They haven't really been a problem until recently, until I like actively started like doing significant work on growing indoor plants in my room. And after that, they basically just decided it's free real estate, and yeah, hopefully soon those traps that I set up for them actually start doing their job. I'm sure nobody wants to hear anything about this. So if I were to run the game now, and if I were to right click, we would just have like an infinite amount of fire traveling forward. Oh no, that is a... Did I instantiate the wrong... Oh, I didn't give it a hang on. Why am I not allowed to just drag a sprite onto this? That doesn't make any sense. That's weird. Game Maker, why do you do this? I could have sworn that you used to, but apparently that is not allowed anymore. Interesting. So if I were to right-click, you can see that we were spawning a bullet every frame, and we are now, I'm sure if I had an FPS overlay on the screen right now, you would see that the FPS reel is being significantly reduced when I do this. But we can see that that's working. One, before I forget, instead of making this sprite's origin the middle, the way that it is for most things, I'm going to make it bottom center. And that is going to... that is going to cause, when I initiate it... Yeah, that's much better. The fire blobs are going to be actually, like, originating at my center, like, at my mouth, instead of, like being centered on me, which was a little strange. Okay. Next, we probably do not want this sub-weapon to be infinitely available, so I'm going to, once again, mirror what I had in the left mouse button. If... I accidentally hit caps lock, didn't I? If self.can shoot sub, then we will shoot the sub-weapon. And can shoot... tongue twisters. Can shoot sub is going to be a lot like the regular can shoot, so we can call this shot cooldown sub. And this is going to one, be initialized. I'll initialize it in a minute, but two, when you do use your sub attack, it is going to be set to, let's make it 5. So you can only do this once every 5 seconds. Let's see, self.that is going to be initialized to 5. Again, this is something that I will make some sort of configuration value. I don't want the buff to fire rate to affect the sub cooldown time. That may be another power up, which gets added later if I want the player to be able to spam their sub attack. But for the most part, this should only be available about every 5 seconds. So I can shoot now. I'm just gonna hold down the right mouse button And it seems that nothing is happening, and I have a feeling that is because I'm not actually reducing it anywhere. So about every 5 seconds. Alright, that was one. About 5 seconds later. Alright. So that works on a timer. I'm considering other things such as like further accelerating the speed at which you reduce the cooldown if you, for example, if you damage foes, like if you do a lot of damage with your regular attack. Not 100% sold on that, but maybe I think Sprint 3 I have dedicated to game content like enemy behaviors and that sort of thing, so I might make that a factor later on. Alright, so we can make some changes. We can just say we gave the player a sub attack. Oh, by the way, I still need to this would have been create tag 0.6. I forgot to do that at the end of the last video as well. In addition to forgetting to put like the things that I was going to do next on the in progress list. Oh, player special can only be used when charged is 100%, but may be upgraded to 200%. That's an alternative way to look at it. Honestly, I think this would effectively allow you to save like sub attack charges and allow you to do 2 in a short amount of time. But I think I like what I have now. I think I like the idea that I just spat it off the top of my head 2 minutes ago, in that, like, if you do damage, you can increase the charge level faster. Okay, can I have a, like, a cancel board? Can I archive this card? I don't want to delete it. I just want to, like, archive it in case I want to ditch it later.
Hey.
That would be a nice feature to have. Does Hack and Plan have such a thing? I guess I could always just use the backlog, which is just unsorted cards, as an archive. Alright, I guess that's the second best option. Next, we can say player special attack on right click. We've done that. Indeed, wasn't hard. Player special breathe fire. We didn't really give it a like anything special that says fire, except for the fact that it applies burn. But I will I'm sure do some artwork later on, and yeah. Special cooldowns and charge level. Cooldowns, yes. Charge level, it remains to be seen. Let's see. Of course, when I go do the UI next week, I will draw the sub attack charge level and or cooldown on the UI to make it a little to make it easier for the player to understand visually at a glance exactly like how its charge level is, and whether or not attacking gives them the ability to use the sub attack faster. Did I just archive the wrong card? I thought I archived this one. Charge level increases by what? Why did I put a ... there? Oh, time killing enemies pickups. Okay, well, maybe I had actually thought of that before. I feel less creative now. Sends to board, sprint 1. In any case, we've done that. Although I might add more later. Okay, so that's done. When enemies die, they give you a score. This isn't really related to the player's sub attack, but it is gameplay related, and I do want to just take care of it now. Let's see. There's a couple ways this could be done. One is each enemy can have a score value. And like the easier enemies can have a lower score value, the harder enemies can have a higher score value. It's also quite popular, I believe, in bullet hell games to have something like a score multiplier. So if you are able to, for example, kill a bunch of enemies in a short amount of time, then your score multiplier goes up, and you get more points for killing things. But let's see. First things first. Self.score value. Oh, can I just go with score now? Is that no longer a built-in? Okay, so it is highlighted as a built-in, but I can use it as an instance variable now, it seems. The default score value can be like 10. I don't want these to be too huge. I know there are games where like score starts at 1,000 and increments in like multiples of 10. But that is... Big numbers become meaningless very quickly, so I'm just going to start with like 10. Single-digit numbers might be a bit too small. That might feel a little bit inconsequential. So I usually shy away from those. But things like the foes that aim at you, these can be worth 25, because those are a little bit more difficult to take down. The foes that chase you down can be like 40. Let's see, the foes that chase you down, these can be 40, because again, those are a little bit more difficult when they're chasing you down. Foe that does nothing, this can be 1. Actually, again, I said 1 is a bit small, so let's make it 5, because that's they don't do much. They're not worth many points. The foes that explode, and I probably will give these score values like a second pass and fine-tune them later. But foes that explode are interesting. I'll make those 20. They're not the worst as long as you, or at least they shouldn't be the worst. I have not done a tremendous amount of playtesting yet, but they shouldn't be the worst as long as like you think to take them out from a distance after the bullets have had a chance to fan out a little bit. Radials, these do a sort of puff in every direction. Those can make the bullet population on screen a little bit dense and spiral. I personally like these because I like them. Let's make them 40. I don't know if they will be as devastating as enemy chase. And let's see. In the base foes die method, where is that? This is the base foe. You have a die method, right? Instance destroy, potentially drop some loot depending on what the loot table has to say. Game controller.level.score place equals self.score. This is a I feel like there should be a more professional way to write this line of code, but I also feel like I don't care if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. So we're just going to draw the score there. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I will do that because making this a method instead of just straight up adding a number will make it easier to keep track of a potential score multiplier later. So let's initialize score to 0. And let's do this. And if I want to have a multiplier go up every time you take down a foe or something like that, and reduce when if you go more than like 5 seconds without doing anything, for example, we can manage the multiplier in here. And I guess, but if it's stupid but it works, it's still stupid, is the moral of that story. Okay, so the game controller, for the time being, we will draw GUI, draw text at 3264 because I believe we're already drawing the player health at 32. Self.level.score. And that's going to need to be... oh, that doesn't need to be cast to a string. Yes, it will be. Like that. Because GameMaker still does not do implicit string number-to-string conversions. Alright, so I can take down some of you. We can see the score going up. I am losing health. I am not particularly concerned about losing health. Alright, I feel like ideal configurations... And after that, my score is 140. Very nice. I feel like ideal configurations of enemies in the actual levels that are in the actual game will not involve enemies that shoot straight being stacked on top of each other, or at least enemies that can potentially shoot straight being stacked on top of each other, because that will make it very difficult indeed for the player to squeeze in. But we'll worry about that later. So, let's see. I will make this a commit. Alright, and I think I'm going to end this off here, because this was everything that was remaining on my Sprint 1, the gameplay board. Other things, obviously, there still needs to be other things done, such as putting it on the UI. You know what? I'm feeling ambitious. Let's do a score multiplier now. So let's say self.score multiplier is going to be equal to 1. And self.score multiplier cooldown can be equal to, like, I guess 0. And the way that this is going to work is every time you gain score from, like, killing an enemy or through potentially other means, self.score multiplier plus equals 0.01, so it'll go up by 1% every time you take down a foe. And if... Actually, wait. Score multiplier cooldown. Should that be a cooldown? What would be a better name for this? Score multiplier... debuff, or it's going to be like the amount of time you have. I'll just call it timer. Call everything timer. Minus equals DT. So when you do damage to something, when you get score, not only will your score multiplier go up, but let's say that your score multiplier timer is going to be set to 2. Again, this will be a configuration setting or a macro or something like that later. This needs to be a semicolon. And then for each... And then in the level update, if self.score multiplier timer is less than or equal to 0, self.score multiplier is going to minus equal DT. So the after the timer expires, after 2 seconds since you've last killed an enemy, your multiplier will reduce by 100% per second. So if you've killed a lot of enemies and your multiplier is 2, and then if you go 2 seconds before you kill another enemy, your multiplier will start going down. 1 second after that, it'll be reduced back to 1. Obviously, you do not want this to be reduced below 1, so we can say score multiplier is going to be equal to the max of 1 and that value minus the delta time. These numbers will definitely need to be tweaked. This is rather harsh, especially considering that there's not that many enemies and it only goes up 1% per hit. Maybe making this 5% per hit will be a little bit more forgiving. Maybe making this reduce by like 100% every 4 seconds. And again, I'm just making up numbers off the top of my head. I'll need to find out how it feels during gameplay later. Maybe this will be preferable. And then... we could draw the multiplier value on the screen as well. You could call this whatever you want. You could call this a kill chain or something of that nature. Did I not initialize a variable? Oh, I called it a... I need to call it timer. Really? What? I misspelled something somewhere. Multiplier. Very funny. Hopefully one of the things that the IntelliSense update brings to GameMaker... Are you kidding me? Okay, where did that crash? Oh, it's... I hate everything. Hopefully one of the things that the IntelliSense update brings to GameMaker eventually is if you make a typo in a variable name, you're not gonna like not reduce fast. You're not gonna be penalized. Oh, this should be a DT divided by 4, shouldn't it? Hopefully if you make a typo in a variable name, like, the IntelliSense checker will notice that, and it will at the very least, like, show a warning, if not a compile time error. In fact, it can't show a compile time error because it is possible to, like, set variable names based on things like JSON or, like, strings using the struct operator, the struct accessor and something like that. But hopefully, like, if I leave out a letter in the variable name, it will inform me some way. And, the reason I find out won't be because the game crashes. Let's see. So this needs to be score plus equals value times the multiplier. Like that. So now if I take u down, multiplier is 1.05. Now it is going up by a little bit more than that. If I take my time, it is starting to go down, which I do not like, especially between waves. But as we can see... Alright. Multiplier is 1.5, and I do have more score than I did the last time. So that's a score multiplier. It's not perfect, but I think it's on the right track. I will commit these changes. I should probably put these in, like, not hard-coded... Like, not use a bunch of hard-coded magic numbers here, but I'll clean that out later. I think what I'll actually do in the next video, now that I've effectively finished Sprint 1 here, and this is 100%, yay! I will go through my code and clean up the code in some places. I will use the variable definitions window for things like entity attributes like the bullet spread and the shots per second values and that sort of thing. And just other general things. I believe there might be a bit of an error in the pickup drop code. I want to say it's weird the way that it is theoretically possible for an enemy to drop every item in the drop table, like every power-up in the drop table, if the RNG is in your favor. So I think I'm going to have it so that, like, it'll only drop 1, and the way that the odds are calculated will be a little bit tweaked. So I think next week is going to be a refactoring video. I did those periodically in Bombardier. They weren't the funnest videos, but they were definitely necessary. So... Alright, let's get out of there. For now, my name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. I hope you all found that interesting. Next time, refactoring. After that, we're going to be going on to UI things, which should be a little bit more interesting. If you want to mess around with the code for this yourself, look for the GitHub repository in the video description. Look for the 0.7 release. Otherwise, I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week. One of these and one tutorial. I like to focus on the weirder parts of Game Maker. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute towards these videos being made, look for the links to that in all the usual places. Otherwise, I will see you all later. Special thanks to Zenjamin, Then Nothing Happened, Squarecrow, Sindra Larson, Posho, Gunnar Clovis, Game Maker, Emily Koyo, Edward Holt, DJ Gibbles, and Army Umbrester for supporting these videos. If you want to see your name in the credits or hear yourself shouted out at the end like this, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.